Coming up next, concerns about Pennsylvania students struggling after COVID.
We've seen that students' test scores in reading and math coming out of the pandemic have really suffered.
Plus, the crazy local housing market and advice from experts.
Well, if you're in the market right now to buy a house, then the faster you can move, the better.
And what's next in the push to sell booze at Beaver Stadium? The Center County Report starts now. Good afternoon, I'm Josh Portney.
And I'm Megan Swift. Thanks for joining us for the Center County Report. Our top story, a dangerous and growing Hurricane Ian is heading toward Florida and will impact the state starting later today. And later this week, we may see the remnants here in Pennsylvania. People in the Tampa Bay area have been stocking up on sandbags, plywood, water, and other items and cleaning out store shelves. Hundreds of thousands of people are under mandatory evacuation orders. Thousands of National Guard troops are mobilized. The hurricane made landfall in Cuba early today, and it's forecast to strengthen in the Gulf before hitting Florida. Let's get the latest from our weather anchor, Madeline Zarkowski, in the newsroom. Madeline?
Well, we're keeping a close eye on Hurricane Ian, which made landfall in Cuba today as a Category 3 hurricane. Expected to reach Category 4 in the Gulf this afternoon before making landfall in Florida. So let's take a closer look at the affected areas. This hurricane should be moving in between Tampa and Fort Myers as a Category 3 hurricane, and damaging winds can be up to 125 miles per hour. Now locally, we should be seeing remnants of Ian coming in on Sunday with rain.
Thanks, Maddie. Police are still trying to track down a shooter who left 3 people hurt at a Western PA amusement park over the weekend. Witnesses say 2 groups of teenagers got in a fight at Kennywood Park in West Mifflin. Shots were fired and 3 people were injured. Police say a gun found at the scene was stolen in Ohio last year.
A close-knit community in Penns Valley is still mourning after a deadly farm accident. A father and his 2 sons died after getting trapped in a silo last week on an Amish farm in Potter Township. The coroner's office said the cause was asphyxiation from the gases in the silo, ruling their deaths accidental. It's the 4th accidental death in this farm this year.
Center County has again dropped to the low community level for COVID-19 for the first time in 3 weeks as new cases decline. While that's good news, there are long-lasting negative impacts from COVID in our area, especially in education. One example, many state college students are still struggling. For most of last year, students in state college schools had to wear masks in class. This year, that's not the case. Students return to a different atmosphere as the school district and region adapt to this new stage of COVID-19. Even though masks may be off, the effects from the worst days of the pandemic are not over.
We've seen that students' test scores in reading and math coming out of the pandemic have really suffered.
School Board President Amber Concepcion says there's still a drop-off in academic performance from remote learning, masking, and other pandemic-related issues. Many parents say the remote instruction period really hurt students' social skills.
When they're sitting on the computer all day, they get frustrated, they get antsy, they want to move around, they don't have recess time with their friends, so they really miss out on that beginning of the school year experience.
Concepcion says that one of her top priorities for the school district this year is bridging that gap.
We need to really be focused on those core educational subjects and getting kids back where they need to be academically, but also socially and emotionally coming out of the pandemic.
State College Area School District received $1.6 million more in the state funding than it did last year, and the board says the board plans to use that increase to help get kids back on track.
A Penn State professor charged with stalking is expected back in court next month. 36-year-old Brandon Schwartz is an engineering research professor. He's accused of trying to take photos up a woman's skirt on the University Park campus. He allegedly followed her and other women on campus over the summer. Penn State will soon join 8 other Big Ten schools in selling alcohol at football games. The big question is, when will it start? Anna Meyer reports.
It's now a done deal. Booze is coming to Beaver Stadium. the Board of Trustees voted in favor of public alcohol sales. Trustee Valerie Detweiler urged members to vote no.
I believe that the three major points that ICA makes to support this request can be refuted, which makes me believe as though much of this decision is really coming down to monetary gain.
ICA, Intercollegiate Athletics, claims sales will enhance the game day experience, reduce alcohol-related incidents, and points out that other Big Ten universities are already selling alcohol at games. Penn State is widely known for school spirit, especially when it comes to football and tailgating. Many fans start their drinking hours before entering the stadium. First-year student Haley Stifler supports the decision.
I think it's great because everyone loves a party, and why not bring it into the stadium and not just leave it outside?
Alcohol will only be sold in 16-ounce cans, and fans can only buy 2 at a time. All sales will be away from the student section, and those who buy must wear a wristband and have their IDs scanned. For some people, alcohol in Beaver Stadium sounds like a good time, but for others, it sounds like a recipe for disaster. Joe Daniel, an alum and a probation officer in his hometown in Du Bois, believes the board should have voted no.
Definitely an increase in DUIs around the area. People impaired on the road it's a disaster waiting to happen. The Board of Trustees, they made a poor decision.
Another alum, John Richard, says he has mixed feelings.
I've gone to other stadiums where I've definitely taken advantage of it, but if I was on the board, I don't know if I would be willing to risk the liability for the alcohol sales.
The board plans to use a secret shop reporter designed to spot check for compliance. Penn State hasn't announced yet when sales will begin. In State College, I'm Anna Meyer for the Center County Report.
The board says it will explore a number of measures to ensure safety and promote a family-friendly environment at the games. There's still no announcement on when alcohol sales will start.
Turning to the economy now, mortgage rates are at their highest rate since 2008. Rates have been on the rise for weeks and don't look to be dropping anytime soon. Reporter Katie Braun has more on what it means for local homebuyers.
It's a stressful time for many people hoping to buy a home. Prices are up, inventory is low, and mortgage rates are at their highest level in years. The average 30-year fixed rate is now over 6.5%.
Well, if you're in the market right now to buy a house, then the faster you can move, the better.
Penn State professor of real estate Brent Ambrose says your best bet is to lock in your rates now.
If you've identified a house that you wish to buy and you need a mortgage, then I would certainly lock in our mortgage rate now.
Home buyers across the country may be thinking the same thing, with mortgage applications up almost 4%. State College realtor Bill Ledford also believes acting sooner is better than later.
If I were thinking about buying a house and I'm looking at the news every day, I would say it's time to make it happen right now, because if it goes up, it's just going to be more expensive.
Median sold home prices in Center County is up to $329,000, according to Realtor.com. In State College, I'm Katie Braun for the Center County Report.
The Federal Reserve also said more increases could be in store later this year.
Center County has decided to move to its landfill to a different site, this time in Cambria County. Starting New Year's Day, the Center County Recycling and Refuse Authority will lug waste to the Laurel Highlands landfill. The county is currently using Green Tree Landfill in Elk County and has been since 2003. The new ordinance will last for at least a decade.
Still to come on the Center County Report, more on the weather and its potential impacts of Hurricane Ian on Pennsylvania.
Plus, a race to the finish line as Penn State football fans compete in the Are You Faster Than Chad Powers contest. Also coming up, rent costs are rising rapidly in downtown State College. See how it's affecting those who live there.
Earlier we told you about rising mortgage rates for homes, but the inflation in the economy are also sending rents through the roof. Reporter Ava Brengord looks at the effects on people living in downtown State College.
The cost of living in downtown State College is now costing students and their families more than ever. Most Penn State students live in downtown apartments, but skyrocketing rent prices could soon change that.
We're paying about altogether for 12 months, it's about $30,000. That's a lot of money.
Renters on average can expect up to an 8% increase for next year's leasing term. With the average price of rent hitting $1,700, that has some reconsidering life downtown.
I've already considered moving out of downtown already. The places outside downtown are beautiful. I'm sure if the rent gets higher, they'll add more options to commute back and forth. So yeah, I'd be excited to do that.
In the heart of downtown, Jake Whitaker shares a one-bedroom apartment with a roommate. He's close to campus, restaurants, and shops, but he says the quality of his apartment doesn't add up to the price he pays.
The counter's not even, and just little stuff like that. I would expect that if I'm paying this kind of a price, which, you know, it's a fair price, but it's also it's a lot of money. I would expect just for it to be more modern, or at least just having dressers that work. I think that's really just an easy thing to do.
His apartment is managed by the apartment store. They declined an on-camera interview, but a representative said high costs are expected with the rise of inflation. And those costs are not expected to drop anytime soon. Now Jake is reconsidering his living situation to cut costs.
Definitely thought about it next year, potentially getting a place that's a little bit bigger, but adding another roommate in there to lower the cost for all of us, so we'd be paying even less than this year.
In State College, I'm Ava Brengord for the Center County Report.
Rent hikes are set to take place for the 2023-24 leasing term, but applications for next year are already being accepted by rental agencies.
A State College company is marking 60 years as one of the world's most well-known names in weather forecasting. AccuWeather is celebrating 6 decades in business. Founder Joel Myers started the company as a grad student at Penn State. AccuWeather now has forecasts available in more than 3 million locations and 200+ languages worldwide. They're busy this week as Hurricane Ian threatens the U.S. coast. Here's Joey Walker with the forecast.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you for tuning in to your afternoon CCR forecast. I'm student meteorologist Joey Walker. Right now, taking a look at Beaver Stadium. Current conditions, a couple of clouds over the stadium, but remaining relatively seasonable for the fall right now. 59 degrees, but feels like 59 with a cool and comfortable dew point of 43. Winds moving west at 16 miles an hour. Speaking of temperatures, again, State College 59 degrees, Williamsport 60, Signs Grove 60, 66 in Harrisburg, Johntown 55. Zooming out, taking a look at the easternmost coast, Philadelphia at 70, making our way up, Allentown at 61, and Scranton at 58. The almanac for this time of year, normal high is 68, and the normal low is 51, so we are feeling a little seasonably cool for fall at the moment. Radar and satellite right now currently looking at a few showers up in Erie, but we could see a few of those bleed into the area into the afternoon and overnight tonight, but for now staying relatively dry. Futurecast taking a look at some of those showers. We can see a few of them moving through, as well as some clouds through the evening hours of tonight, but we do expect to clear out, but by Wednesday we could see some of those clouds return, as well as maybe a shower or two throughout the afternoon. Weather headlines also for you. Cool and cloudy for today, but the sun will return by Thursday. We may even see some of Ian's remnants by Sunday, but at that point, it would be more of just a tropical depression rather than a hurricane. So here's your forecast for today. 60 degrees, a mix of clouds and sun with winds moving west at 5 to 10 miles per hour with gusts at 20+ miles per hour. So you're definitely gonna grab a windbreaker or something to combat those winds. Tonight, clearing out for a few clouds, 48 degrees with winds moving west at 5 to 10 miles per hour. So we do see those winds die down tonight as those clouds also move out. But unfortunately, we do not escape the winds. Tomorrow, a high of 60 with considerable cloudiness, but those winds return. So you're definitely going to want to hold on to that windbreaker for today and tomorrow. 7-day forecast for you. So for today, sun and clouds, 67. Tuesday, showers possible is 60. Wednesday, very cloudy, but Thursday we clear out. And by Friday and Saturday, we could see those clouds return. But come Sunday, we could see Ian's remnants show up for a little bit of rain for our Sunday afternoon.
Great. Thanks so much, Joey, for that weather forecast. Looks like the football game on Saturday should be pretty nice.
Yeah, it's looking that way so far.
Absolutely. Well, let's hear more about that football game. Jacob Charis has sports.
Thanks, guys. The State High Little Lions made some history in their win over the weekend. We take a look next in sports. Also coming up, the Nittany Lions improved to 5-0 as they get ready for much bigger challenges ahead. We have the post-game reaction next. I'm Jacob Charis with sports. Penn State football is still unbeaten as it heads into the heart of the Big Ten season. The Lions wrapped up their final non-conference game on Saturday, and Danny Murray has the highlights.
Penn State continued its undefeated season at home on Saturday, beating a stubborn Central Michigan 33-14. The Lions didn't play their best game of the season, but got the job done. Quarterback Sean Clifford completed 22 passes for 217 yards and 3 touchdowns, and rushing for 1 more. Freshman Katron Allen led the rushing attack with 111 yards and a score, with not much action for his classmate Nick Singleton.
I'm proud of this team. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of where we're at, but we have a lot to improve.
Junior Brenton Strange caught 2 touchdowns in the win. PJ Mustafer led the defense with 6 tackles, including 3 for losses.
When you look again at the stat sheet, you feel good about it, but it didn't necessarily always feel that way during the game.
The Nittany Lions jumped 3 more spots in the AP poll and now sit just outside the top 10 at number 11. They'll stay at home this week, with conference play coming back as they host Northwestern. In University Park, I'm Danny Murray for the Center County Report.
This Saturday's game against Northwestern kicks off at 3:30, and you can listen live on Penn State's Com Radio. Turning to high school football, the State College Little Lions are now 5-0 after a 19-8 win over Central Dauphin Friday night. Reporter McKenna Wall has the story from our football show after the whistle.
This game was a fistfight. State High was put to the test, but the defense was able to carry this team to victory.
I mean, after what we had last year, we knew something was going to be special with this group. We knew it since the end of our season last year. We was working hard all year, and it feels like hard work's paying off.
Tonight's game was the first time State High has beat Central Dauphin since 2018, a historic win for the Little Lions.
Just happy to get a win. Just really proud of our kids, the effort that they put into all week. It really shows up tonight. Our defensive staff did a fantastic job, and we really were able to put our kids in a situation to win, and they played with tremendous effort and passion tonight. I'm proud of them.
You saw a hard-fought game tonight. Deontay Sheffy gave the crowd a scare after he took some hits and left the field a few times. Thankfully, he was able to come back in the fourth quarter and rip off a touchdown.
I knew I was going to get a breakout run before, and it just happened. I got great blocking and just great play calls.
It says a lot about who he is to be able to bounce back from getting dinged up a little bit, and being able to kind of get that game-ending touchdown was huge.
The Little Lions are hoping to build off of Friday's win this week when they travel to Central Dauphin East. Penn State men's soccer travels to Villanova tomorrow for a game against the Wildcats. The Nittany Lions are coming off a win against the 15th-ranked Akron Zips on Sunday. This was the second straight game they faced a ranked opponent. Neither team got quality chances for most of the first half, but in the final minutes, senior forward Liam Butts scored his 3rd goal of the season, giving the Nittany Lions a 1-0 lead. After a long weather delay, Penn State played sound defense and shut out the Zips. And Penn State field hockey heads to Northwestern for a game later this week. The Nittany Lions beat the Buckeyes 2-0 at home on Sunday, improving their record to 8-1 and a perfect 3-0 in conference play. It was a defensive battle. Then Penn State got on the board in the 3rd quarter with a goal by Mackenzie Alisi. A late empty net goal sealed the deal for the win. They'll try for their 8th straight win on Friday. That's all for sports. Now back to you at the anchor desk.
Thanks, Jacob. Coming up next, can you outrun Chad Powers? Over 300 Penn State fans tried to beat Eli Manning's 40-yard dash time. See how they did.
By now, you've probably seen Eli Manning's viral video of his undercover Penn State football tryout. He wore makeup and took on the name Chad Powers. Since appearing on ESPN and The Tonight Show, Penn State held a follow-up event over the weekend to see if Penn State students could outrun Chad. Reporter Matt Noah was there.
Think fast, run fast, think fast, run fast. 549.
549. Chad Powers,
a national sensation thanks to ESPN and social media. His undercover tryout for the Penn State football team is so popular, athletics held an Are You Faster Than Chad Powers contest over the weekend. Contestants squared off at Medlar Field to try and beat Powers' 40-yard dash time of 5.49 seconds.
We've got a line almost the size of the baseball stadium here. We've got young and old coming to try.
The line to run extended from the concourse down to the field. More than 300 runners.
Brought my daughter who's 2, my son who's 1, and my wife's expecting in 3 weeks. So I said, hey, you can have a week to stay home and just watch football uninterrupted. I was homeschooled too, so I knew what it takes to get that 5.49.
65 runners beat or tied Chad's 40-yard dash time. Their prize, a t-shirt with his slogan, Think Fast, Run Fast. I even put myself to the test.
We just had the Are You Faster Than Chad Powers contest. A lot of people came out. It was a lot of fun, and I think I might be faster.
I think that's awesome. For the university, it's really cool for those guys to meet somebody like that and, try to get to where he's been, so that's an awesome thing.
Yeah, and I think it's awesome that they did this today and incorporated this. It's so much fun.
Lots of smiles and energy, and a little fame, if only for 5 to 10 seconds. In State College, I'm Matt Noah for the Center County Report.
Eli Manning led a We Are chant on the video board during Saturday's Nittany Lion football game. Looks like the real-life Ole Miss alum is already a Penn State icon.
That's all for today's newscast. We hope you'll join us Friday for our next local news update.
But you can follow us anytime for breaking news and watch our stories on our Center County Report social media. You'll find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and our website. Have a great afternoon.